She blocked you and it hit you like a slap to the face. You stared at your phone, confused, frustrated, maybe even angry, trying to figure out why she suddenly vanished. You're replaying every conversation, searching for answers, wondering if she ever truly cared at all. But here's the twist: the truth she'll never admit. When a woman blocks you, it doesn't always mean she's done with you. In fact, it might mean the exact opposite. She blocks because her feelings scare her. She blocks because she's losing control. She blocks because deep down she knows you're someone she can't easily forget. Today, I'll reveal the real reason she blocked you, why you're still running through her mind right now, even if her screen says you're gone. When she blocks you, your first instinct might be confusion, maybe even anger. You stare at your phone, seeing the message not delivered notification, and you wonder what you did wrong. You replay your last conversation, searching for clues, something you missed. You try to piece together a logical explanation for her sudden absence, but logic has nothing to do with it. Here's the raw truth she won't tell you. Blocking you isn't about pushing you away, it's about pulling herself back. It's her desperate attempt to reclaim the control you took from her. The emotional control, the composure, the sense of self she thought she'd never lose around a man again. You got under her skin. You triggered something deep, intense, and uncomfortable. Something she wasn't ready to feel. Your presence became too strong, too overwhelming. The chemistry, the tension, the quiet moments that lingered a bit too long. All of that made her heart race in ways she couldn't handle. And rather than facing that discomfort, rather than surrendering to it, she chose to run. She chose resistance. And in this era, resistance looks like one tap block. But the irony, blocking you didn't give her the peace she hoped for. In fact, it only made her think about you more. Every time her phone vibrates, she wonders if it's you, even though logically she knows it can't be. She checks your profile through other accounts, curious yet frustrated by her own curiosity. Her mind wanders to what you're doing, who you're talking to, whether you've moved on, and she hates herself for it because she thought blocking you would erase you from her mind. But instead, it tattooed you there permanently. Blocking you was supposed to be closure, the final act of taking back power. But it ended up being the exact opposite. It turned you into unfinished business. You're now the chapter she keeps rereading, even though she tries desperately to turn the page. You're the conversation she has with herself when the world goes quiet. And every night she wonders whether blocking you was a mistake. Not because she regrets doing it, but because it didn't stop her from feeling the one thing she was running from in the first place. You? She blocked you because deep down she knew she couldn't resist you any other way. Your words, your voice, your energy were breaking through all the emotional walls she had carefully built. You didn't just make her feel something, you made her feel everything: the attraction, the anxiety, the longing, the fear of falling deeper into something she couldn't control. And that's the paradox of attraction. The very reason she pushed you away is the same reason she still thinks about you. You're not easily forgotten, and her blocking you is proof. It wasn't a rejection, it was a reaction. A reaction to emotions that were too powerful, too overwhelming, too real. Blocking you was her last stand, her final attempt to maintain control over something that had spiraled far beyond her comfort zone. But it didn't work, because even though she blocked you, she can't block out the memory of how you made her feel. And no matter how many times she deletes you from her phone, she can't delete you from her thoughts. She didn't just block you to erase you. She blocked you to provoke a response, to see if you'd come after her, fight for her, or at least show some sign that her absence bothered you. Deep down, she hoped you'd chase. She imagined you trying to reach her through mutual friends, alternate accounts, or even sending a desperate text from a new number. She visualized scenarios in which you fought to reconnect, proving that losing her mattered. Blocking you was supposed to be the ultimate test. It was her way of silently asking, "Do you care enough to break through the wall I've built?" But when you didn't chase, when your absence was louder than your presence had ever been, she felt a strange and unexpected sting. Disappointment mixed with embarrassment. Suddenly, the game she thought she was playing turned on her. She realized she wasn't punishing you, she was punishing herself. See, every woman wants to feel desired, wanted, pursued, especially by someone who made her feel vulnerable. By blocking you, she set a trap for herself. If you chase, she knows she holds the power. But if you don't, she has to confront a harsh truth. Perhaps you weren't as emotionally attached as she thought. Maybe your feelings weren't as deep. Or maybe, and this thought terrifies her, you're stronger, calmer, and more confident than she ever realized. And now, in the silence created by her own decision, she replays every interaction, every text, every subtle glance you exchanged. She questions herself endlessly. Did she misread your attraction? Was she merely another casual interest to you, easy to let go of? Or worse, did you see right through her tactic and refuse to play along? That possibility gnaw at her more than any other because it means you're not only in control of your own emotions, you're also wise enough not to feed into her manipulations. This frustrates her deeply because she intended for you to feel her absence, but she underestimated how much she'd feel yours instead. Each hour without contact, each night spent wondering why you never reached out, it all magnifies her longing, turning her strategic withdrawal into emotional torture. Ironically, the moment she blocked you, she gave you the most significant space you've ever occupied in her mind. You now dominate her thoughts more profoundly than when you were freely communicating. She scrolls through old messages, pictures, and memories, looking for evidence of how you felt. Every notification on her phone causes a brief surge of adrenaline, immediately followed by disappointment when it's not you. Because the real truth behind her block is that she's testing her own feelings just as much as yours. She told herself it was about setting boundaries, regaining power, showing independence. But secretly, it was about seeing if she could provoke a reaction powerful enough to satisfy her insecurities, her doubts, and the craving she has for validation. Yet your silence forces her to realize a painful truth. You aren't easily manipulated, and you certainly won't chase someone who willingly removed herself from your life. Your absence isn't weakness, it's strength. It shows her clearly that you respect yourself enough not to fall into emotional traps, even when set by someone you desire. Now, each passing day makes her more restless. She checks your social media from anonymous accounts, hoping for signs you're still thinking about her. She talks about you indirectly to mutual friends, carefully gauging their reactions. She waits for some evidence that blocking you had the effect she intended. Proof that you felt loss, regret, or at least confusion. But when that proof doesn't come, she faces a difficult realization. She wanted to feel powerful, but instead she feels powerless. She wanted you to chase her, but instead, she's the one chasing memories. Blocking you was supposed to be her victory, but now she sees it was her defeat. And the more you stay quiet, the louder her regrets become. Real quick, before we go deeper, I've got something powerful for you. It's a free ebook called The Attraction Handbook. Inside, you'll learn how to make her crave you using just a few psychological moves. It's free for now, so grab it in the description or the pinned comment below. Deleting your number was easy. One tap and your messages vanished. Another tap and your photos disappeared. She thought erasing you digitally would erase you emotionally. But the truth was far more complicated, far more painful than she anticipated. Because even though your number no longer appeared on her screen, you were everywhere else. You're in the places she visits, in the songs she hears, in the phrases others say that remind her of your voice. You're there when she tries to sleep, drifting into her thoughts just as the world goes quiet. You're there when she wakes up, the first thought in her mind before she even opens her eyes. She removed you from her phone. But how can she delete you from memories, from dreams, from the quiet spaces in her heart where your voice echoes loudly? She underestimated just how deeply you had embedded yourself into her consciousness. Blocking you felt like control. She told herself she could cut you out at will. But the truth she now faces is that blocking someone digitally doesn't block them emotionally. If anything, it amplifies their presence, making them larger than life, more powerful, more vivid than ever before. By attempting to erase you, she unwittingly etched your image deeper into her memory. She finds herself talking about you indirectly, mentioning someone with your interests, dropping hints in conversations to see if anyone else will bring you up. Each time she hears your name, her heart tightens, her pulse quickens. and a part of her wonders if she made the wrong decision. Because despite telling herself it was the best choice, despite assuring herself that she could walk away clean, she's discovering something she never expected. Removing you from her life didn't remove the feelings. Instead, those feelings intensified. Without your presence, without new interactions to dull the impact, her memories of you sharpened. They became brighter, more vivid, impossible to ignore. She thought distance would create forgetfulness, but distance only made her memories more seductive, more potent, more haunting. And now she wonders constantly, do you feel the same? Do you think of her too? Does your mind drift to her in quiet moments? Or did her block become a wall that you simply walked away from without looking back? These unanswered questions keep her awake at night. They feed her imagination, which spirals into scenarios, some hopeful, some painful. All of them centered around you. She remembers your touch, your scent, your laugh. She recalls exactly how you made her feel, safe yet excited, comfortable yet alive. She replays your conversations, wondering if you felt more deeply than you revealed. Each memory feels precious yet painful, an addictive mixture she never anticipated. Her mistake was believing you could be easily replaced or forgotten. But the intensity of her longing reveals a deeper truth. You were never replaceable. She can find distractions, new faces, new conversations, but none of them trigger the emotional intensity you effortlessly sparked. None of them challenge her, inspire her, or captivate her attention as you did. She blocked you because it was supposed to free her, but now it feels like a cage, one built from memories, regrets, and unanswered questions. Every day without contact, every night without closure, tightens the bars of that cage. She realizes now that freedom wasn't found in blocking you. It would have been found in facing her feelings, confronting her fears, and admitting just how deeply you impacted her. But pride holds her back. Admitting these truths feels too vulnerable, so instead she stays silent, maintaining the illusion of control even as her heart betrays her every day. Her friends ask if she's moved on, and she confidently says yes. But alone, she knows the real answer. Alone, she knows that while your number might be deleted, the emotional imprint you left never can be. This is the cruel irony of her decision. In trying to escape your influence, she's bound herself more tightly to you. Blocking you didn't end your presence, it amplified it. And now she faces the hardest truth of all. Removing you from her phone was simple, but removing you from her mind might be impossible. Blocking you was easy. Forgetting you was impossible. Now you see clearly. It was never about pushing you away. It was about trying to reclaim control of emotions she couldn't handle. She thought removing you digitally would erase you emotionally, but instead, it turned you into her obsession. You're the one she thinks of late at night, the one whose absence screams louder than your presence ever did. The truth. Blocking you was her ultimate sign of vulnerability. She tried to forget you, but you became unforgettable. She tried to regain power, but instead handed it all to you. And now she sits silently, hoping you'll break the silence she created. If she ever blocked you and you sensed it wasn't really about rejection, but something deeper, comment below. I felt it. Let's see how many men understand the truth now.